Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to one and all present for this webinar where we are going to talk about what to do after PhD. So, just a second. Just a second, guys. Yes. Let's wait till the time everybody is joining. So, this particular webinar is of importance. Uh, Let me share the screen. Let everyone join. Hi, Ankita. Hello, Halima. Dr. Ayushi, welcome. Dr. Palani. Great. Dr. Palani is already working with as Associate Professor of English in Tamil Nadu. Very nice, very nice. So, myself, Dr. Renu Mishra, and I welcome all of you on behalf of the entire team of Research Graduate. And I'm welcoming you from Melbourne, Australia. Here, I'm working as a management lecturer. So, with the whatever sort of knowledge and experience I have, I'll try to put in across with you with this help of this webinar, and we'll try to explore what all the job opportunities are there after PhD. Okay, so let's get started. So, as we all know that this particular webinar has been organized by research graduates. So, anybody who is during their PhD journey, or even I'll tell you how research graduate can actually help you post PhD as well. So you can rely upon this one-stop solution that I fondly call research graduate as. All right, and in order to get in touch with research graduate, so there are the details flashing on your screen. The email ID goes like info@researchgraduate.com, and the WhatsApp number and the website on which you can browse research graduate is right there in front of you. All right, so feel free to get in touch with the team, and they'll hopefully to the best of their knowledge, they'll get back to you on the queries you have, the concerns you have. Very good, very nice. All those who are pursuing PhDs, and all those who are in planning to do their PhD, and all those who have already done with the PhD. I mean, a round of applause to all of them. So this webinar structure is primarily, like 90 minutes of the presentation we'll have, and we'll also have a 30 minutes of Q&A post the webinar. So we generally are like, it's not like that, we follow the ticking of the clock that 30 minutes are done, so no questions will be answered. So each and every questions will be answered. When it comes to this PPT and recording and the certificate for this particular webinar, all this will be sent to you on your registered email ID. So make sure that you have sent or you have registered with the correct email ID. Okay. Plus, kindly increase the YouTube quality to 720p so that all of you can have a better experience for this webinar. And plus, anybody who has been joined with us with the help of their phones, they might can have a glitch because small screens and small gadgets, they might not support. But however, try to be in the better network zone so that you get a continuity throughout the webinar. All right. Okay, so it's time to start with the webinar. Now, firstly, before I go join to the very first slides, or probably I should say that the topic of this webinar, primarily, when you are in the zone of that PhD, when you are actually pursuing your PhD, you are during that journey. So those 4 5 years, or let's say 3 to 5 years, are something which you had never thought of anything else. Your mind is just occupied that let me finish my research first. Let me finish my research first. And after that, once you are done with the PhD, you're probably when you are even when you are preparing for the final viva, even then it doesn't strike to the mind that what we will do after PhD. So PhD is definitely indeed an achievement with all of you who has done it, marvelous, who are doing it, commendable for them, and who are planning to do it, all the best. Dr. Ayushi, if this problem is not with everyone, that voice has been echoing, I think there must be some glitch at your end. So I would suggest that if you can kindly rectify the same. Okay. So when we talk about scholars, right? So scholars, being a scholar, you always have an inclination towards majority, what I have seen or based on my experience, we always have an inclination towards teaching, academics, right? Because we have been captured with that sort of thinking that academics is the only sort of profile or job with for which we prepare ourselves to during the PhD journey. However, that's not the case actually. Firstly, with each year, with each passing time, more and more scholars are being getting inclined for this continuation of their research even after their PhD. And I have been to 2 countries so far apart from India, and I have taught in their higher education. So I've seen this trend that no, PhD is not the end and to start your career. PhD is actually for many is the start of their research journey. So I'm not saying that after PhD you're not earning anything, because all of us during our PhDs are not having scholarship, or we don't have any sort of income sometimes. But doesn't mean that if you further wants to pursue your research after PhD, that will still the case will still the same, that you won't be earning, or you won't be having any financial independence. That's not the case. Firstly, let me clear out this aid. That's not the case. Second is, there are opportunities apart from academics also. Okay, so academics is not the only domain which you can actually think for yourself once you're done with the PhD. All right. Third thing is that indeed after PhD you can go for your industry roles also. Many research and development department of many organizations, for their analytical role, for their research profiles, they aim for PhD scholars. They aim for the people who have done the PhDs. Reason being the statistical blend, the statistical inclination which we achieve during our PhD journey is something which is actually being asked by many companies. So you are being open for 3 gateways, that is academics, needless to say much about it, further research, that's what we are going to talk about it today, and also the industrial exposure. So I would say that if one think that yes, I'm a good researcher, but I cannot be a good orator sometime, and probably I don't have that capacity to teach students, the world is not the end for you. So that if you can't become a teacher after PhD, so what will you do? It's not something, but it's not something which about which you need to depress about. But if you think that you're a good researcher, then I would suggest that yes, this webinar is the right place where you have to get into. Okay, so having said that, let us start the webinar. As I told you that we'll be today talking about the opportunities after PhD, and that in that particularly I'm going to pick up the handpick ones, and that is the postdoctoral positions. Now, as the name itself says, that it is something which is post-doctoral. I mean, once you have attained your doctoral degree, this research begins after it. Okay, how it helps, how it helps your future careers, and how it helps you to be established researcher, and What are the benefits that we'll explore? Firstly, let us talk about what exactly postdoc is. It's very important for us to understand firstly what exactly postdoc is, because I'm sure that PhD is something which all of us are aware of. We do it, and many, to my surprise, okay, photo techos, it's okay even if the screen is not visible to you, there might be a glitch. But if it's there is a little glitchy on the screen, I have uh, told you already, the recording will be given to you. Don't worry, let me just put the screen slides on the full screen, it'll be visible to you. Okay, so this definition of postdoc I am giving to you on the which is being given by the Gerontological Institute Society of America. Now, basically, the basic funda of PhD is to make you equipped about a particular topic and to make you equipped about the understanding that how you can dwell deep upon it. When I say dwell deep upon it, you talk about research. Okay. Now, if you ask me, when I was doing my PhD, I was not at all thinking about postdoc. Even I'm not a postdoc right now, also. But yes, this thought have passed by my mind a couple of times that let's, shift me. I'll not say quit teaching. I'll say that let's shift my career from teaching, from academics to postdoctoral fellowship. Okay, but I have seen that the situation was same like mine to many scholars, that we don't know what exactly postdoc is. We have seen people talking about postdoc fellowship, postdoctoral. I'm a postdoc, or I have granted with a postdoctoral for a fellowship. But what exactly is it? That's what I would like to highlight on it today. Now, basically, postdoctoral position is a temporary one which you get into academia. Plus, industries also allocate as I told you, the ones who are actually into research. Any non-profit organization can also give you, any governmental organization to give you also. Now, why this position is being given? So that you can actually do research on a particular topic assigned by them, or a particular project assigned by them. So basically, you apply for this position. Okay, you apply for this position on the basis of your research interest, how much these research interests align with the job requirements, and then on the basis of that, you apply for it. Okay, general duration is 2 to 5 years, depending upon the project you are being assigned to. Okay, couple of projects, they have deadlines of 3 years, so that position will be given to you for the 3 years, right? And couple of projects, I mean, slightly for the long term, that is 4 years, so your position will be for 4 years. So basically, this is a position wherein you are working as a research fellow on a particular project. That particular project has been taken up by either an educational institute, or a university, or an organization which is working towards many other project, any non-profit organization and stuff like that. Okay, many industry or many industrial organizations also, they give their projects to academics, or they give their projects to research projects to professors, and they ask them to give them the results. For that also, these postdoctoral fellowship temporary positions are being opened by the professors. Okay, this is one thing. So basically, this is a position which allows you to dwell deep on a particular topic further to your PhD. It is not like that you are working on something which is completely different, which what you have done in your PhD. Okay, it is a continuation in what you have done in your research, so as to attain the doctoral degree. So now what you have understand about postdoc is clear. Now, moving ahead is, what are the different types of postdoctoral positions? I think that by far now, like I have explained to you, that what is a postdoc, where all you can be a postdoc. So it is very well clear that when you talk about the postdoctoral positions, they are generally in, like I will show you the slides as well here. They are generally in, firstly, academic postdocs, then it is your industry postdoc, and then it is your fellowship opportunities. Okay, so you need to understand that majority, when I'm talking about my interest, I mean you as a research your interest, so what exactly you are referring to. Okay, now let me tell you that, for example, academic postdocs, the positions, they generally are focusing on your research. Okay, your publishing. Now it is very clear and it is understood also, academic postdocs are generally talking about the research, the publishing, the teaching experience. Okay, many universities also, they come up with the postdoctoral positions in their uh, career opportunities. So that means they are referring to this academic postdoc positions. Okay, now then you talk about industry postdocs. Now these industry postdoc positions are generally to understand the real world problems. Like I told you that many industry organizations also, they come up with the projects. Like for example, if I give you the examples of many governmental organization, I'll not name them, many governmental organization based in India, they come up with various research projects in which they have their own research and development professionals, plus they look for professionals from outside also. A specific grants has been given, that procedure I'll tell you later. Okay, so this is industry postdoc. Now when you talk about fellowship opportunities, now fellowship opportunities, they are basically, these are those in the independent research opportunities which you get, for which you get the fundings from the organization to conduct these research for them. Okay, now here industry and fellowship opportunities, they are slightly overlapping. Okay, now in industry postdoc, the categorically difference is that you are focusing on corporate research. Okay, in fellowship opportunities, where you are talking about, you are conducting an independent research. Okay, and wherein you are receiving a funding from the organization. I'm sure that while filling out the organization career opportunities of many universities, you must have seen, or you must have noticed that the organizations, the universities particularly, they ask you the projects undertaken. So here they are talking about this fellowship opportunities. Okay, that how many projects as an independent researcher you have conducted, for which you have got the grant also from any kind of funding organization. Okay, all right, now moving further, what are the different benefits of, when you pursue, or when you decide to pursue a postdoctoral role? Now primarily, apart from the ones which you have been seeing in on your screen, now basically, I know the ones which are there in your screen is, it clearly says that, it strengthens your CVs, it fills the gap in your PhD research, if there is any. I mean, those who has really dedicated researchers, they actually pursue postdoctoral role in order to fill that void which they think that, I could have done it better in my PhD. Yes, because see, you start PhD and you complete your PhD in the time duration of 3 to 5 years, right? You takes that much year of time. Now by the time you finish your PhD, you're already in that zone that I might could have done better, or probably my data collection, if I view it from some other angle, or if I do it from some different research methodology. So that void is there, I need to fill it, and for that you consider yourself to be in a postdoctoral role. Your CV is strengthened. Most importantly, what I believe is that you become, or probably you develop a further expertise in your own area, in your own domain. See, understand, you are working on the same topic in your PhD, you decide to continue the same in your postdoctoral role. Okay, so a span of 8 to 9 years, yes, it seems a long journey, PhD plus postdoctoral, it definitely makes you the star researcher, or probably deepens your research expertise in your particular domain. You are dwelling deep onto it, what you have been researching since the start of your PhD. Needless to say that during the postdoctoral role, when you acquire one, you tend to meet people. How? That I'll tell you with the due progression of this webinar. You tend to meet people, you tend to connect people, and if you're not doing it, I would suggest that please do it. And my suggestion is please do it while you are doing your PhD only. Building networks, building connections while you're doing a PhD only. Now, why in PhD? Because I'm not saying that all of you needs to go for a postdoctoral role, but this industry, the education industry is something which where you connect people once and you keep on meeting those people at the one or the other institution. Trust me, because you keep on changing institutions, you keep on changing jobs. So those are the same people with whom you worked in your first job. You might change to your third, fourth job and you find the same kind of people, same people. So connection development is very important, not only for a postdoctoral fellow but also for a PhD scholar. But last but not the least, that your career progression is definitely there. Having said all the benefits of a postdoctoral role, my, my suggestion is that you consider a postdoctoral role when you are very firm, when you are very strong headed about that, yes, I want to do this. I am ready to do it. I'm 100% to put myself into it. And because see, you many a times it happens that there are instances where we come across frustration. There are instances where we find ourselves trapped in that what are we doing here, why we are doing this. So and after PhD you're welcoming yourself into same setup but more concrete for another set of years. So I hope that you understand that what exactly postdoctoral fellowship or postdoctoral role demands from a researcher. Okay. Now, definitely, when you are assuming a postdoctoral role, it definitely helps you to, it build up your publication profile. Definitely, 100%. So that research thirst which you have, which many have, you tend to quench that thirst while you are assuming this role. Plus, that postdoctoral role wants you to handle a project. There you handle a project. Okay, now when you are into a postdoctoral role, so you not only assuming research role but also you are understanding the nitty-gritties of a project management, starting of the project management, achieving the long term short term goals, overcoming the roadblocks, because every project doesn't comes with the same smooth sailing, right? Plus you have those financial deadlines also. When I say financial deadlines, because you come across with grants for specific periods. In that period you have to show your deliverables. Okay, so it is very different than PhD in this term, because obviously in PhD also you have time, but that you are doing it for yourself. Your PhD research is for yourself, but here in postdoctoral role, you're answerable to somebody who has given you a financial funding. So that financial funding bounds you to be answerable with that person or with that entity. Okay, so you have, you transit yourself along with being a good researcher. You behave like a consultant, you are owning your own project. So there are multiple roles which you assume in being a postdoctoral. You're right. So it is not that boring also. You have challenges, but you have that kick also. You have that adrenaline rush which you get when you to submit the report, when you need to finish up the objectives, when you to mark the draft. It definitely gives a kick. Okay, moving on, like as I told you that how it shapes the career. So this is what I was talking about, that you not only enlarge your experience horizons, but you explore the world of research. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So you explore the world of research widely. Your publication record gets strengthen. See, because in PhD, the journey of PhD, we generally focus of two to four papers. That because that's a requirement of our course generally across the globe. I'm saying two to four or maximum five papers. When you are into postdoc, when you assume any postdoc role, so you basically, with the help of these paper, you're not only strengthening your publication record, but you're also letting the world know that this is what I'm working on. These are the results of the project. Some projects, depending upon their confidentiality, do not allow publication to a certain beyond a certain stage. I mean, after that you can publish, so that you need to respect. I mean, that you need to follow the rules. Apart from that, you gain multiple roles and you gain multiple experiences. You behave like an entrepreneur, you behave like a consultant. So once your postdoctoral role is over, you can actually assume a role of a consultant also in the organizations. That actually helps. So various organization, various startups these days want scholars to be as a consultant with them because of their deep expertise, because of their understanding of the entrepreneurial venture, and so on. Okay, so I hope that by far now you understand what exactly is the concept of postdoctoral role is, what are the various opportunities, and how it actually helps us. Now basically, question comes how to find them, right? Now, when it comes to how to find them, there's actually a very clear cut discussion which I say that, and that is that when you are actually applying for a postdoc position, or when you are looking for any postdoc position, the main thing is that what you need to so the main thing which you need to see that every postdoctoral role is not for you. So you need to find out some dedicated platforms for it. Okay, so you need to see that what exactly or where exactly I can find out my kind of position. When I say my kind of position, so what I mean to say is that yes, this is the one which aligns well with my research areas. Exactly. Now here is point is that when you apply for a postdoc position, couple of things which you need to look forward to. Now, it's not that today I need to do it, so I'm thinking a month back. No, planning for a postdoc is something which you should do it in advance, and I would say that well in advance. How well? Probably a year and a half before. Yes, you need to. So when you prepare yourself for a postdoc, it's not only research wise, it's also mentally. Okay, and then you find that these opportunities are not everywhere. They are on the dedicated platforms, like you can look for LinkedIn's also. Okay, then also you need to see that what all are the different universities which has the openings in particularly your research, because now for postdoctoral role your research is very specific on which you need to work on. Okay, and then also you can take help of platforms like ResearchGate, wherein they recommend the different positions, or they suggest you, or they connect you to help connected with the networks. Now, how to go about it? Now, if anybody is thinking, if anybody is having a vague idea or vague planning to go for a postdoctoral position, firstly you need to prepare yourself a year and a half before. Okay, then obviously you need to work. Now, lab, as in everybody is not from the science background, there are from other backgrounds also. So considering lab once for all applicable, I have taken it like that. You search for the professors, you search for the members who has a direct linked interest as like yours. Okay, Then you try to meet with them. So when I say when you try to meet with them, what I meant is that either you connect with them in any conference or in any meetup, or probably you take a direct appointment with them. You need to let them know that what is your interest area. Okay, have 2 3 meeting follow-up meetings, tell them your pitch, your business card, you must be having one, and then your defense date will be there. You need to understand that what are the different kind of fellowships are available. So now if I tell you that how exactly you need to go about it, that firstly that your research role, your research area, that this is what I need or I'm looking forward to working. Okay. Then look for the opportunities linked with your research area understanding. You can visit different universities, you can approach different professors, you can look for the different organizations, okay, who come up with these kind of postdoctoral fellowship programs. Okay, like many are, for example, you and also give postdoctoral fellowship programs. I'm just giving you the examples now. They may give the fellowship programs opportunities, but how far or are these opportunities are linked like with your research area, that you need to find out. Okay, so when then you establish connect. I'm just taking an example of a professor. So you got to know that my particular interest is aligned with, for example, somebody approaches me that my particular interest is aligned with Dr. Renu. Okay, now the scholar will establish connect with me, probably email the interest or email the position or email the profile or email the proposal. So if I liked all of them or any of them and I have the project also, I may call the person or I may find a project fit. Understood what I'm saying? So for this you have to see that since your research area is already fixed, so you need to find out the people who are working in your area. Okay, now what are basically the relevance of these roles? Now basically, it like I said, you align your postdoctoral fellowship role with your research interest. So you are extending what you have done in PhD. You're not assuming any new thing, you're not assuming any new role, you are assuming something which you have already done. Okay, then also to the person whom you are planning to get in touch with, the professor, the supervisor, what all kind of publications they have done, so properly done their homework. Now how will help you, that I just told you, that it will help you to understand that he or she is working or his interest is in the same area as mine, because you as an academician works or your publication reflects your interest area. Take my word. Okay, your publication actually interest your you reflects your interest area. Maybe that that person has considerably working in that particular research interest lines aligns with you for last 5 years. So and he may be looking for a person who can assist him or her in the project. You're the right fit for that. Okay, then also it's not only that you randomly go and check for these professors, you have to see that what kind of affiliation they are having. Plus you can't ignore the fact that the institutional reputation is very important when it comes to understanding or when it comes to cater the postdoctoral role, when it comes to get associate in the capacity of a postdoctoral role. It is very important to understand or consider the institutional reputation also, because it's a long term affair. Okay, you just can't ignore the fact that the institution should have appropriate kind of resources, it should have appropriate kind of opportunities also. When I say opportunities, right kind of opportunities, well fitted with your research alignment. Okay, now everything is not the bed of roses, so there are some red flags as well. Now what are the red flags? And I'm sure that when you are at the postdoctoral role stage, you're well aware of these red flags, or probably, if not all, but many. Like I tell you, delays. Delays is something which we have, which we as doctoral candidate are assuming it since the starting of our PhD. Okay. Plus, many a times you may find it that I don't know what to do. My supervisor, my professor, or my funding organization is not giving me a clear cut information. These situations might come to you. Okay. So wherein your role, or what to do, or sometimes you are finding yourself just data, at a data entry operator, that's it. There may be situations like that, or what has been expected out of you is not being clear, that what is to be delivered, when is to be delivered, what are the short term goals, what are the long term goals, is not being clear to you. So these kind of red flags, unclear expectations, not appropriate funding or resources. Sometimes funding get delayed, sometimes it takes ages to come. So you're obviously, these kind of hindrances, these kind of roadblocks take a toll on your mental health. So I am not scaring you here, I'm not demotivating you here. I'm just telling you that you cannot ignore this aspect also when you want to assume a postdoctoral role. Okay. So it is very clear that you may think that this is something which I really want to do, this is something which I always wanted to do, but once you are in the soup, you realize that no, this is not something for me. I always wanted to be a teacher. This is not something my cup of tea. I'm done with my PhD. No. So, have a proper understanding, have a proper research on this only before you get yourself into it. Okay. Okay. Now it times to prepare for your job. Okay. So firstly, when you look for any job, there are a couple of things which I think you should consider. Before I get into that, before I slideshow the screen, my suggestion and my tip for all of you would be, every position will not have same cover letter. This I have seen in many cases, and this is not only for the postdoctoral role, this is also for the academic role also, if anybody is planning to go for applying for any kind of job. Your cover letter is actually a reflection of what exactly the employer is looking into a candidate, and you have found yourself best fit for that job, that's why you are applying for it, right? So how the cover letter for all the jobs can be same? No, cannot. So your cover letter, your CV, and lastly your research proposal, which definitely is important, that how you are, you are putting relevance into your role. Second thing, apart from customizing cover letter, that's what I say, that you might need to customize your CV as well. Here and there, see, you can't change the key information, obviously not, but here and there changes in every format, in every time you submit the resume, you apply for a particular position or pertaining to the postdoctoral role, you may have to introduce certain changes. They are for sure have to be done in the cover letter. I mean, there is no doubt about it that every job requires a customized cover letter. Then your academic CV, how you need to portray it. Not every position will require everything what you have written in your CV. And lastly, what is your research proposal? That how you can put in the innovative ideas, how you are relevant for this role, and so on. One important thing which I would like to put on here is that many a times you might find the key selection criteria. That key selection criteria is generally something which is a must a candidate should have, and the candidate should be able to reflect that how he or she has done, or have achieved that criteria in past. So either you answer those criterias. For example, let's say any organization say that have assumed or have an experience of handling scholarly activities or published scholarly journal articles and so you're answering actually that question, that yes, these many articles or these many papers in this journal or this journal and so on, right? Getting what I'm saying? So point here is that your cover letter, either your cover letter should have answered those eligibility criteria, or you may choose to support your application with a separate key selection criteria document. Now that key selection criteria may not be in every position advertisement, okay, it may not be there, but if it's there, and if that employer advertisement, that's what he said, that if that advertisement say that you have to answer it, they generally mention it that either into separate document or within or if not it's been stated that in a separate document, then try to answer it into your cover letter. So your cover letter should look like that, yes, this cover letter is particularly been made for job this job postdoctoral role. When it comes to research proposal, so here understand, you're already a master, you're already a doctor, so you have that capabilities, you have that research acumen, that's why you are here, right? Now what different and how much you are different from others, because all those who are applying for this particular role is will be a doctorate, right? So how you will put in any newness, or how will you will assume this role effectively, that's what it should be reflective in your particular proposal, right? So these criteria should be kept into the mind when you are preparing your documents and sending to apply for any postdoctoral role. Okay, now then comes to how you can actually craft a strong application. So firstly, like I told you, that every application you need to tailor it, customize it. Keywords related to your research, very very important. Showcase your publication in terms of accomplishment, in terms of publications, in terms of grant if you have received any in your PhD. Plus keep it concise, proofread it, and it, this is very very important. You are not supposed to blabber about your things, don't do that. Whosoever is actually understanding or whosoever is taking care of your application, they understand it very well, okay? Do not blabber, but having said that, it does not mean that keep the things in short, does not mean that keep the things in short. So keep it concise. It applies to your research proposal as well and your cover letter also. Many profiles they say that keep your cover letter between 1 to 2 pages, not more than that, and proofread it, and there is no scope of errors. Simply, I mean, I can't say more than that. You are already a doctor, you are applying a position which is beyond doctorate level, so one cannot afford to have mistakes of grammatical horizon. You can't do that. Okay, when you move ahead, now there are some couple of mistakes which you should avoid. There are some, some always some or the other instructions being given, please do that. Like I said that every application need not to be the same for all the positions. Tailor made, customize it. Do not give too much of information in any of your document. Keep it simple, crisp and precise. Okay, plus every position, the advertisement, they give you the guideline formatting. Okay, and I'm sure that all of you at the doctorate level, all of us are at the doctorate level, because since we are thinking to assume the postdoctoral role, so we know the importance of proofreading and editing. Generally we are in stress, we are in hurry, and we assume some sort of, we undertake some sort of mistakes. There's no scope of that mistakes here. Okay. Okay. Now basically points comes that how do you write a strong cover letter and CV. Now here I will tell you that when you are talking about a cover letter, okay, a cover letter, what is exactly a cover letter? Cover letter is basically a reflection of your CV, first thing. Now when I say reflection on your CV, one should not feel like that I am reading the CV again. You've already given it. There's no point duplicating the information again in cover letter. So it is just a reflection of your CV. It is not your CV. Many forget that. Many forget this. It is not at all the duplication of your CV. Okay. So please follow that. Every job, news cover letter. Clear? Second thing, when you start a cover letter, give an introduction, your main achievements, and your closing statement. That's it. There is no need to write the complete summary. I mean, you are going on, going on, going on. But it's very important to address your cover letter with what all are your contributions, plus how relevant all these contributions are in your position, forthcoming position for which you are applying. Understand? Now, this is very important to understand here that your cover letter actually gives an idea to the professor or the organization that how well the past experience of this candidate is aligning with the current requirements of the project and how well fitted the person is for the current duty. Very simple. There is no hard and fast nitty gritties for this. And like I said, you should have an introduction, you should have a research summary, and you should have a closing statement. So when you talk about a research summary, you generally reflect about your achievements. Plus it should not look like that I'm talking about only about myself. I did this, I did that, I did. No. How, what all I have did, what all I am mentioning makes it relevant for this position. That is to be, that is supposed to be the main agenda of your cover letter, that your cover letter is making the professor believe that yes, this is the right candidate which I need to look forward, or which I'm looking forward to. Okay. So your cover letter, actually don't take it lightly. My suggestion would be, don't take it lightly. You need to make sure that your cover letter is hitting the bullseye. This is what I can say you. Okay. Closing statement also, always it should be with the enthusiasm, full of enthusiasm, like I if I tell you from here, let me go back. Additionally, I look forward to apply my computational. So here the cover letter is coming to an end. And again, how it is, it is ensuring that what all skills I have, they will be put it to up to the maximum. Okay. Now let's talk about your CV. Okay. So your CV basically is actually a set of a reflection of your own personality, your own achievements, how many publications you have done, how many presentations you have done. Understand, this CV, this CV is all about your achievements, how you have done them, what all you have done them. Achievement in the some sense that what all you have done in terms of research, pull them out. If you have any membership also, if you have any association also, make sure you mention it. Because in postdoctoral role, you and your network making capacity, you as in your network developing capacity will be taken care of, will be put forward, will be at forefront. So understand this, that you cannot let go. Okay, fine, I'll be putting up anything, or let's not, please. Plus, here I would like to tell you one thing, that if anybody is applying for a postdoctoral fellowship outside their country, I'm not naming any, outside their country, if you're planning to move abroad for postdoctoral fellowship, kindly look for the accepted layout of the resume, popular layout of the resume in that country within your domain. Okay, so because this is particularly I'm telling it to the people who are thinking to move abroad for their fellowship or for to assume any postdoctoral role. So in order to apply for that role, you need to customize the CV as per the country trend and in your domain. Okay, so it is very important that you in that CV you list all your journal publications first, then come your conference presentation. Do not do the reverse one. Generally people do that, but suggestion is to put publication first, and then comes to your conference presentation. And if you have been granted with any kind of grants, if you have any kind of major projects in the past, do not forget to mention them as well, because these things will help you reflect, or be these things will help you tell them that how you can be a research asset for them. Okay. Okay, now if we see that you understood what is a postdoctoral role, how you can choose for a professor, your CV. Now, the one thing I have, I will repeat one more thing, that be it a cover letter, be it a CV, not the research proposal, customize it. Now, why not the research proposal? Because your research interest remains the same. Here and there, slight modifications required, but do not completely change it, deviating from your research interest in the past. Okay, so what all you are applying for this role in order to be a candidature for this role, so you need to ensure that my candidature put in forefront by when I put in the right kind of content in my key documents, be it my CV and be it my cover letter. So you can't say that different jobs can be availed with the same set of cover letter. No, you have to make sure that you come up with different cover letters. Okay, now we have come to a point where we think that yes, we have come to a stage where our interview is there. What to do with that? Now, you may come up with a mindset of being a researcher, but when you are preparing for the postdoctoral role, it becomes your duty and responsibility that you will do your homework about the professor and the institution. You may choose to study about the professor on the website of the institution or LinkedIn profile, or even the publications of the affiliations if he mentions any on its platform. So you need to make sure that you do your homework. You should reflect that zeal that I have put in my time before coming and facing for this interview. To the max about the institution also, because the understanding about the institution has well prepared all the research opportunities the institution gives, what kind of grants this institution gives and receives, the both. Okay, now there are some common questions also which generally people gets. First and the foremost question which you as a PhD scholar, because I mean as a PhD holder, not scholar, but as a PhD holder will get a lot of questions about your PhD. How did your PhD contribute? What are your future goals? And do not assume that once PhD is finished, the world is not going to ask you what are going to do that. Now, first thing first, here, any postdoc interview can ask you that what are your future goals? So you should be very well prepared back in your heads that I need to brief them, brief them. I know that every scholar has a a special place of their PhD in their hearts. So do not kindly start reciting your thesis. Do not do that. Don't start just chanting your thesis. They are not there to listen. They're just trying to understand whatever you have done in your PhD. You understand it. Get my point? So the point is that you clearly explain only about the significance or the contribution of your PhD. Focus on these things. Okay. If only if they ask more, okay, explaining about your methodology, what challenges did you find, all that. Only if they ask more beyond this, what I've told you, go ahead. Okay. But in being a researcher, like I told you, we have special place in our heart for our thesis. Whosoever, and we are freshly PhD holders, whosoever ask anything about our PhD, we start reciting the thesis. Don't do that. Okay. Now, second thing, the interviewers, I will call interviewers them in this point in time, they are keen that why they should take you over others. So you have already briefed them about your PhD work. You have told about your achievements in your CV. So now they also have developed a kind of background in their mind about you. You just need to sound relevant to what they think about you. How you are an appropriate candidate, how your candidature is best fitted for the role, for the postdoctoral role, which is been for which you have been appeared for. Okay, so first thing first is about your PhD, your significance, your contribution. Second thing second is, which is very important, that why you want to take on this position. I mean, people can ask you, why didn't you go for any academics job or any other job? Why this only? So please focus. And how also, this you need to tell them, or this you need to prepare, that how getting into this role actually is taking you forward a step closer to your career goal. How taking this route aligns well with your career trajectory. This is very, very important. So, PhD, okay, your candidature explanation, how you felt fit well, plus how this role aligns well with your career. These three things, and you are sorted. Plus, you need to control your pitches. Your communication should be very clear. There's no scope of being nervous, because you have I know, being a scholar, we already have a practice of going across various kind of defense. So that confidence, that skill set which allow us to face people is already there. It's just that we need to practice the pitch at that point in time, which we are going to put forward with them. Okay, so it is very important to practice that. Plus, do not, I told you, as I told you earlier also, do not just blabber about what you have done so far. Understand your limitations. Your PhD is unique for you, but you may have had certain set of restrictions, certain set of limitations, and there is no harm in highlighting those. Okay. And if you have any questions in your mind, anything which you're not clear about, anything which you're curious about, don't afraid in asking. Please don't take a step behind and think that, can I ask it or not. Please don't think. Don't do that. Feel free to ask. Okay, feel free to go ahead with. So moving ahead further, now this is what you should do when you try to reach out to a potential supervisor. Firstly, do their research. Like I told you, just familiarize yourself with them, what all they have written, how they write, what all their interest areas are, research interest areas are. Just go through them all. You may write a brief email to them showing your interest. I am telling you the scenario where you can actually approach a professor or potential supervisor by yourself. Okay, so when you have finalized, or when you have understood that, this can be a person with whom I can work with, because his interest area or my interest area aligns on the same page, then write an email to him explaining that how you really find yourself, or you really want to work with him, and how you find yourself to be a fit with their research interest, plus, refer to any publication done by you, and then align it with a publication done by them, so that they very well get to know your intention of working with them, and also they get an idea that how you are a well fit for them. Okay, then show them a seriousness that no, this is not a random email. Don't poke them again and again. Understand, you may be an aspirant for postdoctoral fellow, but your faculty to whom you have written, they do not have all the time in world, right? They are busy, they have assessments, they have classes, they have grading. So do not expect an immediate reward. For that follow-up reply, in case you don't get an email revert from them, for that follow-up reply, try to wait beforehand. Okay, and then it is it okay for them to be your supervisor or not? It is okay to ask this question. Okay. Okay, now these are some common PhD and postdoc questions. I have actually, why I say that, there are some questions which are common in PhD and which are common in postdoc also. So I have listed down these questions with you, and I think which these are the ones which we have discussed also, that why do you want to do this? Obviously they're going to ask you, that's for sure, they're going to ask you that, why do you want this project, or probably what skills you will bring is to the project. So you need to be very specific. You need to be very specific, because so that they can understand that particular research alignment for which you and your project or their project is perfectly aligned with. Okay. Okay, now couple of things which I have already told you, that which you need to take care of before your interview. Listen firstly to them, what all the queries they have, what all questions they have. You are not supposed to just overcome them. You're not there to just speak, you're also there to listen and then speak. So pay attention to every detail what they have to tell you. Do not blabber, like I already told you. Just, I did this, I did this. Do not start overdoing it. Your pitch should be clear, concise, and do not sound phony, as in just be real. Just do not walk in the, a hallway of thoughts. Don't do that. And confidence. See, I understand that during the time of PhD, uh, many, they take easy way out, and but you have, if you have got serious by the time of postdoctoral route, so you have confidence that honesty should reflect what all roadblocks you come across, and you what all challenges you come across. Kindly tell them. Having said that, it does not mean that you list out all the challenges in detail. It does not mean that there would be a discussion on, it was so difficult, and we experienced this challenge, we experienced this challenge. No, then it gives a negative impression. So your explanation about the challenges and the limitations also be in such a way that it should explain that how well did you overcome it. Okay. Okay, so there's a break time, let's skip that firstly. Okay, now I think you have, chronologically you are following me, understanding postdoctoral thing, what are the different positions, benefits, applying for it. Before that, understanding the key documents. You're facing an interview. Now the time has come for the negotiation. Okay, now when I say negotiation, see, because this is not just a research which you are doing to attain a degree. Clear? Now, here some sort of financial negotiation needs to be done. So, this homework always, I mean, you can keep a note of it also. Always make sure that you know the industry trend of salary. This is non-negotiable. As in, when I say non-negotiable, as in if somebody is trying to pay you less, that is non-negotiable. You can't do that. So, what all the additional perks you're going to do, we're going to get, plus the salary, which has to be as per the industry standards, should get. So, you should work on these factors. You should do your homework. Plus, during negotiation, if these discussion does not come up, you kindly put them on table very clear. Then also that you need to see that when, how the funds, the grant which is being given to you will be released, what all are the duration, because eventually it should not be there that at instances that you are spending from your pocket. It should not be there. Plus, last but not the least, that you should keep a check on, or you should always give a read that these are my, like, if the project does not gets into on time, if you need extension, then what are the clauses, these things, please. If you have, make sure these things you're sorted, you're good to take off. Okay, so coming back to the negotiation and control, negotiation and the contracts. So basically, first thing first is your salary, how much you're getting, how much your project is getting, the research budget, and what are the terms and conditions for the extending. Because generally, but generally in 80% of the project, what happens is your time duration does get extended. You don't get the data in time, the data collection gets slow, the data analysis gets slow, or probably compilation takes time. So you need to have a clear understanding on the fact that what are the terms and conditions for the potential buyers, potential but the renewal. If you need, let's say, after 3 to 4 years in a project, and that project was 3 years, you have already spent 3 years and you are in your extension zone, what are the conditions on that, how much will it impact, will it impact your funding, if, then how much, will it impact your own salary, if it's there, then I would say that kindly give a thought on it. Because if there is any change in the salary, if the project get extended to a certain time, obviously you can't take whole of your age on you completing that project. Kindly go through that very carefully. Okay, then what are the non-monetary benefits, this needs to be very clear. Okay, because non-monetary benefits means, see, it is no less than a job, you agree. So do you as a researcher, postdoctoral researcher, do you get the any mentorship opportunities, okay, which are relevant for you also for your career growth? Plus, what kind of opportunities in terms of conferences, any events will be given to you, which will facilitate, which will speed up your own professional development? Because you are not just there for salary, working on a particular project in a closed chamber. No, your professional growth needs to be there. You need to have a career growth plateau being associated, being aligned with your career eventual goals. So this all needs to be assessed by you prior to you go to, or during the negotiation. So this homework also needs to be done. Last but not the least, what is your work, what will be your work hours and location, and how much, because if there is any altercation, if there is any major change, how much this project will hinder your work life balance. Because like I told you, PhD And then postdoctoral may put a role on mental health. I will not say that mental health completely, but you should be mentally very strong to go for it, because extensions, delay in fundings, non-flexible working hours, overtimes in terms of doing research, and sometimes you take hours for literature review in this. All this needs to be considered beforehand, that whether this is something which I always want to do. Answer is yes, go ahead. This is not as difficult as also, because when you get the interest, when you get your research interest aligned with what you are doing, your work becomes fun. Your work becomes fun and easy to go ahead with. Okay. Okay. Now, how you should negotiate? Firstly, you should know what is the general industry standards. Only then, in comparison to, you can negotiate. If you don't know what is the trend going on, how will you make a negotiation? Plus, you should firstly know your worth. Then you should tell the same to the ones who are taking your interview. Actually, that how your achievements, how you as a skilled researcher will be beneficial for this particular project. And in all this, you're not supposed to lose your anger, because I can understand that after PhD your personality does undergo slight bit of changes. It does undergo slight bit of changes, because in PhD also you have seen a lot of delays, a lot of roadblocks, which you are welcoming in your life again. Okay. But in an entire genre, you're not supposed to lose your temper, you're not supposed to lose your professionalism, you are supposed to be polite. All this is basically you are trying to tell them what you have, how much you should get, and all this by being polite. Okay. Okay. Now you are into this role. Now the point is, now you are into this role. So how you set goals for postdoc? You need to focus on your publications. This is your short term and long term goals. Firstly, you need to focus on your publication, plus parallelly you need to run your data collection, because you have a research objective with you. Okay. Then you may have not worked with all the kind of statistical tools in your PhD, so you need to brush up your skills. If you have but good understanding in your PhD, brush up your skill. If you need to read more, kindly go for it, because when you are into postdoc, your statistical hand should be in good command. Okay. Then last but not the least, that you need to build a foundation for yourself, so that you have tenure track position, or you have industry roles in your hand uh, by the end of this project. Because once the postdoc project gets over, what after that? Okay. So this is what I wanted to show you, that how a postdoc journey looks like. That you plan your application for fellowship and your research project, what is there in your mind, you submit it, then you get the self support for 1 to 3 years, then you submit paper during that year, you write grants, and then either you go for academic or you go to private sector. Now here basically this is the time which is mentioned as 1 to 3 years. This varies from scholar to scholar. This is not something which is that I have written 3 years, so it will be 3 years always. It varies from scholar to scholar. Okay. Okay. Now, so as I told you, when you're talking about the short term and long term goals, your primary goal is to publish, enhance your knowledge, what all you have learned, whatever you have known, enhance it. Plus, once this project end, I need to go back to some role, build a track for that, build connection for that. It's very important. In postdoc, connections are very, very important. Okay. So second is, in your short term and long term goals, is aligning with institutional expectations, because every institution gives you project timelines, they give you objectives, what to achieve. Okay. Joint publication if they are required, and then you regularly go and meet your supervisors. Okay. This cannot happen. All this cannot happen if if you are not tracking your progress. How will you do that? You may use any project management tool. You should be prepared with any plan B if you come across any challenge. We will see kind of attitude will not work here. Any unforeseen obstacle, any unforeseen roadblock you may come across with, and then you have to overcome it. Lastly, but not the least, is that maintain your records. A lot of paperwork. It is about a lot of paperwork. When I say a lot of paperwork, as in your digital records will also be there. Folders, subfolders, application proposal, this grant, the granting approval, all this has to be prepared like a record. Okay. Okay. Now, basically, what I'm trying to tell you is with this subtopic that now you're in the project, you are assuming that role. So for that, you prepare a detailed plan. Divide your research into steps which are achievable. And this is the suggestion which I would like to give you the scholars also who are attending this webinar, that you are not supposed to take whole of the work as a bunch itself. Narrow it down, dissect it. Being into postdoctoral role, you need to, when you are accessible, you have been granted the budget, what to spend, when to spend, how to spend. Your planning should be, because you're answerable by the end of it to the organization, that how much money is being sent, and this is very, very important. And then you set smart objectives for you, set deadlines with realistic deadlines for you. Okay, there is a data collection process which will take no less than 3 months, and you say that no, I'll come in 1.5 months. That's not practical. That's not realistic. So whatsoever goals are you giving in front of you, or are you giving for yourself, there has to be realistic, because you understand how much time it is going to take. Now here it is very important to understand that do not take uh, uh, unexpectedly too much of time. Okay. So this is basically a chart of steps which I have created for you, that how you can actually create a detailed project plan. So you need to understand your project charter, your gap analysis, your scope should be very clear. Now understanding the scope will tell you to break down the steps and to set deadlines for you. What all are the budget requirements for that? What all are the deliverables associated? That okay, this is the objective, this is the task. Once this is done, this should be my result, the deliverables. This should be identified with you. Having said that, again, your budget and timeline should not be ignored at any point in time. Okay, what all resources you need, what all project requirements you need, please feel free to tell your supervisor or any association organization with whom you think that my resource allocation is responsibility. Okay. Okay. Then it is very important to understand that postdoc, like I said that it's very important to understand that postdoc is about connecting with people. It is very important to connect with people. You tend to elaborate on your academic connections. You tend to present your papers. You tend to attend your conferences. If not presenting, then attending like an audience also, because that gives you an opportunity not only to learn but to connect. This is very, very important. Then it is very important that being a postdoc, you're not supposed to be into a secluded position. You're supposed to engage with other researchers who are working in the disciplines which are as similar as you, or you're complementing to each other. This is very, very important. Okay, so this is all what I'm telling you in the academic connection, that that how you are supposed to build your network. Plus, you should always give a strong online presence. This is something which I would like to suggest to all the PhD scholars as well. Your LinkedIn presence, your ResearchGate presence, and any other social media platform which you think that is optimal for me being in this role, mark your presence over there so that you gets an opportunity to get in touch with fellow researcher, what is happening in your research world. You get to know that what all places they are going to, what all places have the opportunities for me to go to. Okay, if you get chance, mentor others, help your colleagues, and if needed, do not hesitate to go to your supervisor. Very important. And lastly but not the least, but that update your online platforms, update your online presence, I would say that. Out of sight is out of mind. It is very clear, right? So it's important. Okay. So last thing for this, this thing towards this building a professional network is that you need to be curious, attend these social media events related to your research, conferences, events, share knowledge, and diversify your networks. Okay. Now, with this, we are done with the webinar. I would appreciate if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, please. See, if any one of you amongst yourself is planning, or sometimes it's like that, you have not thought of it, but you think that, we can be, I can be a best fit into this domain, or further, I can be a best fit for the further interest. So now, basically, see, Ayushi ResearchGate is a platform for researchers. Okay, where there are a lot of other researchers also which are there for your mm, uh, I would say that research connections. With this, you can actually connect to fellow researchers, you update your profile, you update your publications, you basically prepare your research profile on there. Okay. Fudo, like I said, that every universities, they come up with the, you need to first see that your research interest is available, or what all are the universities which are actually being offering postdoctoral fellowship in your research area. Okay, then narrow them. Then comes to the professors in those universities who are actually working on your area. Then approach them. Okay. For us or any other country to apply for postdoc, is GRE or IELTS required? It depends upon the university requirements. Okay, GRE or IELTS requirements depends upon the. I'm not taking US or any other particular country. It depends upon the university requirements. Can you please give any website which postdoctoral? See, Mr. Keshav, see, there are various opportunities available because postdoctoral opportunities are not something which are there for everyone. Okay, so you have to fine tune the research in you have to fine tune your what do you say that your search in terms of your research area. Then you find out that these all are the websites, or these all are the universities which are giving opportunities in my research area. Okay, so you may go to different universities. For example, I'll tell you, I'm in Melbourne. So in University of Melbourne have currently come up with the postdoctoral fellowship. So this way you have to see what all universities are coming up in. research fellow they come up with. You create a profile, Dr. Ayush, like any other. It's like sign in and you create a profile, upload your achievements. It's like that only. Yeah, photo professors, see, basically, it is firstly, don't poke them again and again. My suggestion is this: that, if tomorrow, if anybody is emailing me, also, if every week I'm receiving like 2 to 5 emails, I'll also get bothered about it. So give them time. Do follow up. Don't poke them again and again and again repetitively. It creates irritation in the professor also. Don't do that. Avoid it, but do follow up. Okay. uh, MLT mastery, as I told you, how to connect with people is basically you start going to conferences which are happening if not directly into your research domain, but related area. I would not say research domain, I would say the paramedical domain. So paramedical sciences, I would say that has a great deal of scope. So for that, you start attending medical camps. Medical campaigns is not for the treatment of the patients all the time, but the ones who are sharing the knowledge also. Conferences you go to, there you connect with people. Jolly, how to get published my PhD work? I think. Okay, this question is about you're trying to get your entire thesis published or what? Papers you publish it during the course of PhD. So basically, when you talk about Mr. Keshav, postdoctoral, it's a fellowship. It's a fellowship program wherein it is for the individual who already holds degree, that is doctoral degree. So it is basically a temporary scholarly type of research training program which or you undertake to go for a project. Okay, so it is higher than your PhD. Apart from publication of research paper, is writing the academic will have for postdocs. Yes, I mean related. Yes, of any kind of publication which is aligned, it will definitely. Uh, no photo. I have not applied in Melbourne University. Melbourne University have recently come up with the many different fellowship programs. You may check on their website. What all is basically is the best fitted to your research interest. Okay. I have not applied it, but yeah, I've come across that yes, Melbourne University have the postdoctoral fellowship program open for different research areas. Okay, so then they will give you the requirements as well. Jolly, so if your thesis is published, so you want to get in, to get the whole of the thesis published. So for this, get in touch with your supervisor firstly. Okay, get in touch with your supervisor firstly. He or she will guide you that how you can, because you need to see that how many papers out of the thesis have already been published. So get in touch with them, your supervisor. Yeah, you can actually turn your PhD thesis into a book or journal, or basically your thesis is, like I said, your papers have already come out of your PhD thesis. So rest, your guide will guide you that what all is remaining to be published. See, Keshav, ResearchGate is actually a platform where you get connected with the fellow researchers. So yes, you might get connected to a professor who's looking forward for a researcher like you who has a similar interest in the area where he is working and he's looking for a researcher. Kind of, you can say the scientist because you research like one. Is there any on where we can connect the academicians and people from the same interest? See, you need to find people from that interest, MLT. Okay, you need to connect from like I told you, create a profile on ResearchGate. Please provide the Google Meet link so that we can interact better from. Okay, I'll ask the team surely. I'm working with MNC Nishit. Post-retirement, what are the job position for researchers? Uh, for that, Nishad, I think your research area in which you are a researcher needs to be explored first. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Please feel free to type in. So, Nishad, if you are from management, and so what I can understand is you're working in a management position with an MNC, and you want to come up to research profile after your retirement. Okay. uh, if you do not have a research degree with you, and if you're not into any kind of research profile right now, uh, coming directly into research would slightly be glitchy, but you can definitely come into academics. Yes. Keshav, research graduate actually cannot help you to get into any university. We can actually guide you that what all things can be done. Helping in university means any kind of backtrack is not there, but yes, research graduate, the team can definitely guide you that what all the procedural documentations preparations needs to be done. Okay. MLT mastery, firstly you need to see that what all are the membership associations, what all are the bodies with which your in paramedics your membership is required. Then approach them directly. If there is any requirement, they'll clearly tell you out. Thank you, Arasi. Thank you so much. Okay, Nishit. So what I understood is you are into research. I'm doing research as in your profile is research. So definitely, I mean, many organizations after your retirement also, you can work as a freelance consultant also for many organizations. You can definitely come into academics as well. That's a position which is always open for the people who are coming from industry and they want to transition into academics post they are retired. Okay, Keshav, how to balance research and family? I mean, it depends upon that. Are you procrastinating a lot? Kindly do not linger on your work. I mean, I understand in research there are many instances where you need to put in a lot of time from your family's kitty to your work's kitty. So, what I would suggest is that make a deadline for yourself that after 5 or after 6 is not the time for my research, it's time for my family. So whatever I need to do, whatever work I need to do, either you start your day early or you did too much of work in that during duration, please do that. I've done PhD in tourism from IGNOU. I'm 60. Can there be any opening in some universities in Arabic? That you have to check. I can assume this is Japanese, Mr. Japanese, that you have to check that if there is any opening in tourism. This is related to job opportunities, which you need to check on your own. Yes, Dr. Mishra. So you have to see that what kind of opportunities are there for the casual teachers, for the sessional teachers in tourism. Yeah, they may be. It's not about age that people do get sessional work. Yeah. Thank you, Keshav. Thank you, everyone. Dr. Mishra, my full name is also Renu Mishra. How does one do that? Actually, you need to first see that what all universities are actually offering tourism courses. So only the ones who are offering tourism courses will be the one will be which will be having the requirements from for the teachers. So you first need to know that what all universities are offering tourism courses. Yeah. Any other questions anybody is having? What about no? I don't see that there is any age limitation in sessional teaching. I don't see that there is any. People keep on teaching because you're asking for sessional capacity, no? So full time may have age restrictions, but for sessional there is no. Yes, Murmai, I'm a field like fashion in a field like fashion or in fashion, Murmai. How do we find a scope for more in depth after a PhD? It's quite hard to find. No, it is not. Murmai, firstly, if you have been strong headed that you want to do a PhD, so be firm that nothing is impossible. Second thing that you know better than me or anybody else on this platform who is not from fashion that what can be a probable topic which you can take on from the um, for the PhD as the PhD topic in fashion. Okay, so first, what I would suggest is that try to read the previous thesis from your domain. It will give you an idea that what kind of topics people are working on and what do they suggest by the end of their thesis to for the future researchers. How to choose research topics in current scenario. I mean, see, guys, it is not only for MLT mastery, it is for everyone. Being very specific on your in your domain, like for instance paramedics, so I may not be a very right person to tell you what's going on in the recent paramedics topics in the paramedics, but I can tell you how can you do that you kindly go for the recent publication and recent conferences. So conferences always happen on the current theme. That will give you an idea what's going on in your domain. When you go for PhD, is it compulsory to give research proposal complete? Will a synopsis do? That depends, Sanjog. That I would not say that will a synopsis or a will a research proposal would do. Every university have their own requirement. If they have asked for a synopsis, you have to submit a synopsis. If they ask for a proposal, you have to submit a proposal. So it is about the university requirement that what they are looking for or what they want from you before you go for a PhD interview. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone. And you'll be again notified for the forthcoming webinars. We'll see you. Hope to see you soon on the next weekend for the coming webinar. Thank you so much.